this is Anna from Leximia Journals. I hope everybody's well today. I'm back here to show you these two journals that I've just finished, and they are part of a series that I've just started, and it's called Transient Series. This one is, the green one is Druid, and the red one is The Missing Queen. And I don't know if you remember, some of you might remember that some time ago I mentioned that I've written a novel. I'm nearly finished, and it was a fantasy novel, and it had a lot to do with obviously mythology and time, the beginning of time. But anyway, I thought it would be a nice idea, because a few of you wanted to hear about it. It would be a nice idea to start a series of journals that would tell the story of what I had started. So I'll do an introduction, and you probably might want to skip a bit if you don't want to hear about this, but it's very related to the actual story of the journals, as I said. So maybe if I make it a short introduction, you would be able to understand what's going on with the journals. The idea is that there is this couple, this man and woman, who date back to a long time ago, and the man wakes up from a deep sleep, and he finds that he is missing his female partner. So he is dedicating his time to find her. There are no time limits, and we'll be back in time, and also we'll probably be going forward in time as well. And he will be searching constantly, like a wanderer, he will be searching constantly for her. So he knows that he has woken up from a sleep, he suspects that she will be sleeping somewhere as well. He found himself in a temple, and he suspects that she would be underwater. I will explain in a different journal why that is. So he is doing some research. His research is to find a potion to wake her up when he finds her. At this stage of time, he is a druid. Druids, they are studying natural philosophy, astronomy, the gods. The training takes a long time, immortality of the soul, all sorts of other ancient herbs and healing. So he's in the right place, and he is studying for her. This is the Druid, the Druid's journal's story. The Missing Queen is a journal that he is carrying with him, and he is filling in with all sorts of information about sleeping women and the story of sleep and how the humans look at it from their point of view. And from the ancient mythology, sleep is a circle. It's the sleeping gods are related to the changes of the seasons and time, and sleeping is a cycle on the human cycle as well, in human life. So sleeping is very important, and you know what I'm like about Sleeping Beauty and all that. That is all influenced by this the myths of sleep and the myths of change in the seasons. So that's the main idea. I'm sorry if I took a bit of time out of your video, this video you'll be watching, for that, but I thought that knowing the story, knowing the idea of the story, would help you understand obviously what the journals are about. So the reminder is that our Druid is holding on to both journals. One is his own research, and the other journal is the research that he's doing. One is his own research for the potion, and also the studying what the Druids study. And the other is the research for his female partner that he's looking for. I'm not going to give away any names yet. There are names. The names will be mentioned in a different video. These books will be coming in twos. I quite like this idea. It happened last time, and I like this idea of twos because they're related to each other and there's some kind of a connection. It's always nice to have the balance between two books. It's the balance in nature. So you know, that's my idea. So let's begin with our Druid. And I'm starting with our Druid mainly because I mentioned in the crafting video that I was preparing a Druid journal, and I thought you might be anxious to see that first. Also because I made it first. So there you are. There's a reason behind it. So let me show you the outside part of the journal, the cover. And you can see the tree with quite a bit of gold on it. And this is the spine. The spine is finer, thinner. And this is the back of the journal. It's a beautiful deep green, which is how I imagine, obviously, a Druid's journal to be like. Very green, obviously connected to nature. And it has got a lot of strings. And there's the lace up here. And I've added quite a lot of frills that are made of natural muslin, undyed muslin, which is what I always use anyway. And I use it a lot in journals, as you've known. It's my favorite material for covers because I can add the images on them nicely. So there is the book, and I have used this beautiful Florentine leafy greeny leafy pattern here, which suits, I think, the research that our Druid is doing and the life that he's leading. And there's quite a lot. I've got some graph paper. This image is by, just a second, I'm going to tell you exactly where they're coming from. This image is by Hans Thoma, and it was made between 1839 and 1924, and it has been titled December. And our Druid, he's a shapeshifter, and he's also changing his appearance to fool people to think that he's older in this case. So at the moment he's an elderly Druid, looking like an elderly Druid, and he's adopting quite a few ideas from different images that he has seen. So this is one of them, and there's the moon and the wolves, and there's our character here. And there's a side pocket. And another side pocket. And another side pocket. I have a few in the first chapter. And here is the second part. And this is by Arthur Rackham, Siegfried, from Siegfried and the Twilight of the Gods, and that was made in 1911. Typical beautiful Rackham image, and again it's a Druid. It's changing appearance, and the signature Rackham of Rackham is here as well. And this is something a bit more muslin. The muslin. This is quite interesting, and this is Mime and the Wanderer, and this is another Rackham image. It's an medieval astronomy image, and that comes from Ptolemy, as you can see here, and it's the figure of the world in medieval astronomy, Ptolemy. So he's studying his astronomy as well to learn about the cycles of the stars and the moon and the tides and all that, because he needs to find her, and he's trying to guess where she could be. He needs to find who did that to them and how they both slept for centuries, and how they woke up and how he woke up in this world, and he doesn't know where she is and if she has woken up, and he needs to find who did that. He has some suspicions, but he's still not sure about it. And there's a washi world, the globe. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful image And this is Doppelmayer's Celestial Map, and it's decorated with vignettes of the astronomical observatories of Greenwich, Copenhagen, Kassel and Berlin, and it was made in 1730, so you have all this detail here, and the actual map is stunning inside. It's beautiful, beautiful, printed on this like aged paper. It's really authentic, and it belonged to somebody. This actually belonged to somebody. I found it on on Flickr, but it actually belonged to somebody. Gave it to the internet for people to be able to see it and use it, because it's copyright free. Due to the age as well. This is a semblance that I made to add to this journal, and a little book here, a little notebook, and this is a little leather bag, only one side, and you can slip in things here, and if you want to close it, you can use a pin or something like that. I might put something there for closing it, for closure. And so I added stuff on this. So I don't take it. I would take it away from the pages. So it's nicer to have your pages clearer to write on, I think, for these journals. Here is another beautiful image. It's a Gallic Druid who is using a mallet to remove a ring which hemmed in the globe. Sorry, that's a long one. That inscribed goal. There it is. So there's the Druid. And he's got a funny look on his face. I'm interested. Okay. And this is a symbol, a Druid symbol, with a snake swirled around something that looks like a sword. There's another pocket here with a bit of script there, and this paper that you'll like. This is the figure of an astronomer who was accused of sorcery, and that's in the Science and Literature in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance book, 1878, by P.L. Jacob. So interesting, isn't it? This guy's really doing serious work, and he's accused of being a witch. So our Druid is collecting all this information, so he knows where to be and what to do if things get a little bit tight with the law. Yeah. And this is the Sacred Grove, and the Druid there, an image, which is more or less what I tried to represent on the cover of my journal, on the journal. And this is another medieval depiction of the sky and the earth and astronomy or astrology, because both were entwined at the time. This is a nice image of potions, appropriate here. And this is The Wanderer by Georg von Rosen, Odin the Wanderer, 1886. It's really, really, I love this image, this picture. And there's another oak grove here. And this is by Waterhouse, and it's a nymph. And this is how he thinks of his lady who's missing, and as a nymph. And because he, as I say, he suspected that she's under the water. He's got some faint memories, some ideas that she's under the water. He still doesn't know where, and he's using these images in his mind of these ladies that are under the water. He sees her as a nymph. And he suspects also, and I will talk to you more about that in when I'm showing you the other journal, that there is information of her through the ages in the mythology, in the world mythology, because of the nymphs and the nereids and then the oceanides and all these creatures that are water creatures. So he's thinking of all that. And here we have I think it's a Waterhouse image as well. But correct me if I'm wrong, because I couldn't find I had found it and I lost the source, and I thought I'm not going to look for it for much longer, but it's just beautiful. Ladies after a deer, white deer. There's a nymph there, and a Pan, god of the woods. And there is a map, another map, a star map of the sky in the northern hemisphere, and it's an engraving, and I don't have any more source on it, on where it came from, but this is what it is. There's another waterhouse image of a nymph and the potion. He's thinking of his potion. And here is the map of the human body, the female, and he's gathering information, feminine body, so that he can work around that to find his potion, what he needs to do to wake her up. This page I tore on purpose. It's a little piece of paper that he must have torn to write something, and to have it there. And this is the final book plate, the end of our book, our journal, and the beginning, because there is no end to these, is there? It is what people do with them afterwards. So this is the theme of our Druid. There will be a few more before he moves on to a different stage, and he will be traveling through the Middle Ages and Renaissance and all those times where information, alchemy, medical information was very dubious, and he has to be very careful on whether, who will hear about that and who will know what he's doing. This is the missing queen. I chose this image because it looks lovely, because it could have easily been in the water or on the side of the water, just falling down like a cascade, and it also resembles hair, female hair, so I just thought it looks really lovely just dropping down. And this is the spine, and it's got quite thick ridges, this one. I decided to do her book a little bit more feminine, let's say. And this is the back, and here's the tie, which is silk binding tie, and it has a kind of a peachy creamy peachy color. So, as you can see, I chose a similar paper for her journal, for her book, for the book that he's carrying around. That is, and again, an Italian Florentine paper. So I didn't, unfortunately I had the last pieces, so I didn't do a double page here, because I wanted to put one on the back. So this is Houdin by Rackham. And so in this journal, he is in pockets, imagining her as a water creature, a water nymph, somebody who is in the water and has been hidden under the water for a while. So he's trying to do some research on how he can find her under the water. This is The Princess and the Trolls, a Changeling by John Bauer. And there's more paper here. You can see there's a bit of a dribble there from the coffee staining. Some of it is quite dark in this journal. And her journal has got, now this is Perseus returning the eye of the Gaia by Henry Fuseli. In his research about the female and sleeping female and the water nymphs and all that, he's also researching older women, he has changed himself, and he has, with his shape-shifting, turned into an older man. He's also researching older women, and in the ancient Greek mythology, so the Graia were the old ladies, and they were in choruses, and they were very, very important in the whole, the crone, the woman, the older woman in mythology, very important. So he's returning the eye to the Graia. And this is a little bit of silk that Indian silk, sari silk, that I've added onto the side of the page to give it volume, and it gives the journal volume, and but at the same time kind of easy to fill in. And there's more of this dark paper, dark coffee dyed paper here. And here is a very, very beautiful image of Psyche, the wedding of Psyche, and that was by Edward Burne-Jones, 1895. Beautiful. This is one of my favorite ones. There's more coffee dyed paper, quite a lot of sort of strong dyeing in the process. Called The Naiads, and that's by Gioacchino Paglielli, Italian, 1881, and that's beautiful. They're coming out of the shell. This is the Queen's paper, let's say, and it's red, and it goes with the red journal as well. And here is a semblance. This is from the Twilight of the Gods as well by Rackham. I thought that would look nice. It's got a very medieval, archaic, mythological feel about it, and a bit of this sari ribbon. Is another piece from a page from the unread manuscript with information on herbs, which is what our Druid is collecting. Side pocket. These are very grey as well, by Edward Burne-Jones. Perseus and the Grey, 1892. It's actually come out very well when it was printed. Very clear, beautiful, deep colours. I love it. There's a bit more of this. And here is again the lady with her potion. I added her in this journal as well because it's this connection that these two journals have got. But this one's got a lot more of a femininity flow to it, I think. Or feminine flow. And this is a sketch of women, 1838, by Norwood. It says Norwood there. Different ladies by the water. This is some more bits of paper, and this also gives you the impression that you're in the water. This is an apocalyptic image, and it's really, really interesting. And I think it's by Doré, if I'm not mistaken. Might be wrong. There's more of this sari silk. And there's a unicorn. Yeah, it's quite mythical, the whole thing. And there's it says princess here. For him, he's looking for his princess, desperately looking for his princess. So this is another water nymph. Well, it's by Waterhouse. Nereids, I think it's called. Yes, Nereids 1. There's a sea creature. And some hair, beautiful hair. Nimnu, the head of Nimnu. Waterhouse. There's more of that water image, bubbles. Sparkling, not shining, sparkling. And there's the tail of the water lady, the water creature. And there's a corner here, corner pocket. And this is a Nereid by Waterhouse again. The end. I don't think I've got anything else in the end. Yes. And this is the bookplate and some of that beautiful Florentine red paper. So the two of them here. This is the start of our new series, which I am going to focus quite a lot on. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, since you were interested in my novel, and I've promised it, but I haven't done it for a long time, for months, or maybe a year that I've mentioned it. I can't remember which video it was that I mentioned it, and I remember some people reacted to that and said, you know, why don't you do something with it? So this is the story. I will be giving more and more information in every video that I make that is part of the series. So eventually we will get to the end. His search. Of course, there are other things happening. There are more characters involved and all that. And I will be trying to mention these things slowly so that and gradually so people can get an idea of what's going on. So I'm just doing a very fluid, sort of not too tight interpretation of this story. It's going to be a gentle approach, let's say, to it. And you know me. You've understood how I work. I'm very I love this other world that was there before us, or maybe parallel to us. And I love the romance of it and all that. So forgive me if I sometimes seem too romantic, but I'm sure some of you people, you know, souls like mine that search for things that are not harsh, like what is going on in this real world, but in our world, but a little bit more gentle. I don't know, something else. So I will try to do my crafting video now. The light is not very good, so I might be doing it first thing in the morning tomorrow before everybody wakes up, Saturday, and publish it a bit later. These two books will be on Etsy on Sunday afternoon after 8 p.m. They will be sold separately. There will be more and more coming, so yeah, they'll all be related. So thank you for watching, and sorry if I overindulged myself. Thank you.